Hello everyone, I'm Spencer.
I'm Lara.
And we are married with board games.
We certainly are.
And we are here today to review a game that we've been playing as a married couple and also with friends as well.
Yes.
And this is A Tale of Pirates from Cranio Creations. And we actually had the pleasure of meeting some of the designers of this game. And
they taught us how to play.
They taught us how to play, which was a really neat experience. But all that aside, we're going to talk about A Tale of Pirates, this game that's got some real-time elements to it, pirate game.
Worker placement,
and with some app implementation.
Yes.
Here's a quick look at how to play. All right, so a brief overview of how to play Tale of Pirates.
Great.
Here it is in all its glory.
Yes.
Ellen, the ship.
Right.
She has a name, of course. And this is what it's going to look like when you put it up on the table.
Right. So you have your health, which are indicated back here with the hearts. Mm-hmm. Here's your mast with a sail that does move up and down for your speed. And you can see some of our pirates have already been placed out here. And you see this curious little thing that's a cork is what it's referred to as.
Yep.
You start out with 2, but you'll see in the box there are slots for more.
Yeah. So essentially the way this game works is you have an app that the app has the different scenarios as you play through. Yeah. And in the game there are 10. And when you start the app, it will tell you need to select some specific cards that you're going to play with.
Right.
And what are the cards?
Well, they're going to be different things like rocks that are indicated with they have a little heart on there, which means that your ship will be damaged if you run into the rocks. There's also fog, which basically just takes up space on the board. A passage in the first scenario that you have to achieve a certain speed, and you have to be facing toward it in order to overcome this obstacle.
Wait, you mean the ship can turn?
It sure can.
Whoa, awesome. So the scenario will tell you which cards to pick. You'll mix them up. You'll put them around the ship like this so you don't know what's where.
Except for the one that you're facing at the beginning, which it tells you a specific card that will be face up from the beginning of the game.
Yep.
But everything else is a surprise.
Exactly. The app will then tell you what your goal is, and it'll start. You'll say when you're ready. You start the timer, and you go. This is a real-time game. Everything happens at the same time. Everyone takes their turns at the same time.
How long is a round?
I don't know. Do you know? Is it 5 minutes?
5 minutes.
Probably 5 minutes. It doesn't actually have a time. It's just a sand timer that slowly counts down.
How many rounds are there?
3, right?
3
rounds.
That's something that I always forget when we're explaining this to new gamers. There's more than one round. Don't think we have to get it all done in one round.
Right.
It's going to be okay.
So depending on what your objective is, you're going to be doing different things running around the ship. The way it works is you have your pirate. Yes, your pirate is a sand timer. And you can only touch your sand timer.
Right.
Okay? You can't touch anybody else's. And you're going to, whenever the timer starts, you're going to go do an action on the ship. You can do things like get up in the crow's nest.
What does that do?
It reveals a card anywhere you want it to go.
A face down card on the board.
You can load a cannon. You can shoot a cannon. You can
repair damage.
So sometimes your ship may get damaged. If that happens, it gets full. You have to go repair damage to do that.
Right. It takes up a spot that a player can't go to.
Right. You can go raise or lower your sail, which when you do that, your ship will move faster. And it also changes how many spaces you can turn when you turn the ship.
Right. When you're going fast, a big tall ship can't turn a whole lot of spaces.
Yep. Well, how do you turn? Well, there's a space for that too.
There's a space for that.
Looky there.
You can steer, you can do all sorts of fun stuff.
Yep. And so the way that works is you go, you put your pirate there, and you wait. And while you're waiting, you can talk about possible strategies of moving forward. And once your timer has run through, you execute the action, right? So in this case, once that's done, I will load a cannon.
How many do you load?
I load 2 because the symbol says 2.
It has two cannonballs at the slot where Spencer's pirate is posted.
Yep, so I would load the cannon, and then I don't shoot it though. I have to get somebody else to go over there, which either another pirate can, or I could immediately go and do that. And again, once my sand timer is done, I can shoot.
You couldn't just load the other cannons immediately after?
You can't. You cannot do the same action twice in a row. You
Can't
can.
be in the same action area space.
Exactly.
Because at different things, like there are 2 cannons, so there's 2 holes there. You can't just move over from one cannon to the next. Same with the sail speeds. There's 2 spaces there for pirates, but you can't just move over from one hole to another. You have to go do a different action.
But you could go to the other side of the ship and shoot a cannon there.
Yes, I will concede to that.
So essentially, that's it. Again, depending on what the scenario is, it may just be survive, maybe attack other ships, and then as you go through the different chapters, new goals will be revealed, new pieces will be added to the ship, a la these packages.
Right.
So once you complete a scenario, you go to the next, it'll tell you to open up the package, see what nifty things are in there, and that's essentially how to play the game. Anything else?
That about covers it.
All right. Sand timers.
Yeah.
Sand timers is pirates.
Right. When that was told to me before I got to look at this, I was going, no, what? Now there are other games that have used this, this idea, but those are competitive games.
Yeah.
This is a co-op.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
kind of different there.
Absolutely. Well, so let's talk about just the overall look at the game.
All right, sure.
It's really cool, like the 3D pirate ship, right?
So neat.
It could have easily just been a flat board, but the 3-dimensional ship.
Well, and the fact that it spins around
yes.
on the compass. It's very cool.
So just the 3-dimensional tactile element of the game is really cool. The artwork, I love it. The execution of it, the cards, even just the backs of the cards, the attention to detail on the ship itself is really neat. And I just think that was a very well done execution from the art and the design team on the visual elements of the game.
Right.
Now, I do have a little bit of a nitpicky thing because it is cardboard and 3-dimensional, and you're kind of taking it apart every time you put it back in the box.
That's very true.
It is going to wear down at a time, each time you play it. And if you have people, let's just say if you're playing it with kids or whatever, they may, grab something cardboard, and because everything has to fit together intricately and the way things fit together have an impact on your game because it's real time. You really have to treat this very nicely.
Well, I know that several times we've had problems with players removing their pirate from the crow's nest, and the crow's nest just totally coming off the top of the mast.
Yeah, because what happens is there's like a little lip on the edge of the hourglasses, and that gets caught on the inside of the crow's
You're in a rush
nest.
to take it out to go move somewhere else, and you're just ripping it out of there. That crow's nest just pops right off.
So if there was a different way to make those hourglasses without that little lip and they could just slide out, that would have been better. Or if I don't know what the answer is, but just keep that in mind. And again, some of the cardboard has been deteriorating a little bit. We've had to add some glue in there. You don't want to glue everything together because you can't get it back in the box.
For the box, right?
Yeah, but so again, a little nitpicky thing. It hasn't really detracted from our enjoyment of the game, but something we did want you to be aware of.
But I mean, it is something that's very attractive on the table.
Yes.
Like people
absolutely.
notice this game.
Absolutely.
Right, so something else with that is the way that you set up the board and everything is all determined by an app.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit more about this app.
So this app, so when I first heard about there being an app utilized with it, I just assumed it would be like a timer or some ambiance kind of thing, but it's very integrated into the game itself.
But it's not in place of.
Right. I think it's a very nice integration.
Yes.
What's really cool is, yes, you're right. Every time you start up a mission, the app tells you what cards you need for that mission. It tells you how to set up the board. It tells you everything you need to know because it changes based on the scenario that you're playing.
Right. Some scenarios you're not going to be facing any enemy ships. You're simply going to be traveling through the elements. Some scenarios you're going to board ships to try to take gold from them. Some scenarios you're going to be running from ships shooting at you.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be different cards each time. And so they'll tell you what is face up in front of you right at that moment and then shuffle them up and just deal them at random around the rest of the board face down. And it's going to be a good time.
One little thing that I really, really enjoy and I appreciate, because I've played a lot of video games, a lot of apps, is how as you progress through a campaign in a game, you go to different locations, right? And you don't get to move on to the next location until you beat that level.
Right.
Well, it's the same way in this app. You move along this pirate map kind of thing, and you go to the next location on the map, and you can't move on to the next scenario.
Which is hilarious that you say that, because right now I don't know that I've ever actually looked at the back of the box before. Right now, as we're sitting here, it says, will you be able to reach the end? No.
Yes, true confession. We haven't played through the entire campaign. We're stuck right now.
We're stuck. I don't know how many times we've played this particular campaign, and we played it with several different player counts, different players. I don't know what we need to do.
But the app, I think I know what we need to do. The app allows you to adjust the difficulty. And we've been playing on normal. You can do easy or medium, right? Easy, medium.
Or hell.
Hell, yeah. So if you really want a challenge, you can play in hell mode.
We don't need it.
We don't need it. So, but I do appreciate the way that works, because you can't just skip, right?
Right.
You have to beat it. And I guess theoretically at the end of the mission, because it asks you what's still around, how many lives you have left, you could lie. But who wants to do that?
No,
Right.
not at all. And,
So-
and that's something else that it does, with going in the vein of what you're speaking of app games and whatnot. It gives you a score.
Yeah, how many stars?
How many stars you have. And
Yep.
Spencer is an admitted completionist.
Absolutely.
And so he will want all of those stars. However, at this moment, we'll take anything we can get to get to the next story, please.
Yes. And one final thought on the app before we move on, unless you have anything else. I like that you've got the timer of the app, you've got the ambiance of the music and the ocean, but there are also events that happen that the app will be like, this is happening, like a wave comes and you have to change your speed.
It turns you.
Okay.
A wave will turn you in a different direction. So you may have been headed toward this ship, ready to board it, to plunder it or whatever, and all of a sudden this wave knocks you in a different direction. Or there could be a doldrum. That's when the wind just drops out from under you, and your sail speed is just going to drop to 0, and you have no speed anymore. Those sorts of things are, I think it's exciting.
Yeah.
And
Well, it keeps you on your toes.
and it's different every time. It's not going to do the same thing each time. It's always been different every time we've played this same scenario that we're stuck on. It's changed every time.
So we've kind of been talking a little bit about the mechanisms and the rules, but essentially, I mean, you've got a time limit.
Yes.
But you have to do these actions, but the actions are timed because you got those sand timers.
Right. Well, and the actions, I mean, you've got to be able to talk to your teammates even before you start the play of, okay, who's going to cover what, who's going to do this, and then ready, and then wait until the app
Says go.
counts down and says go. I don't know how many times we were told that we would try to start as soon as the app started. Wait for the countdown. So we would be, during that time when it's counting down, we're, okay, I'm going to go cover this and you do that. And then we're there, and then you have to start discussing, all right, now who's going to do this next and who's going to do that? We need to do this. Somebody go to the crow's nest, you know. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy the teamwork aspect of this game.
Very much so. You have so many opportunities where you do have to strategize, and you don't have a lot of time to do it because you have to do all that strategizing while your timers are going down. And yes, inevitably, you'll put your sand timer where you don't need to go because of the stress. And then you
have to wait until your timer runs out.
And I do like that, and I like that the rules are pretty simple, right? You put a timer down, and when you do that action when the timers run out.
Yes.
There's really not a whole lot more to it as far as the rules go. Yeah, there are intricacies when it comes down to like the different cards, like the different obstacles, the different ships. And also, as you progress through the campaign, it's kind of legacy style in that in the next campaign, you open up a package that may add a new piece to your ship or new cards.
Yeah, new enemies to face while you're sailing through, or a new like I don't know, a weapon or a feature on your ship to make you go faster or something. Like really cool stuff like that.
So when you do implement those new pieces to your ship or whatever, there may be new rules, but as it stands, when you open it up and you start, it's very simple.
Right. Well, and even before that, when you're setting up and you're going, okay, now we've added this since our last game. What are the rules of it? It's right there on the app.
Absolutely. The app tells you exactly what you need. Almost don't even need the rule book.
Almost.
I
think keep that handy.
Yes. So we've kind of been talking about it a lot, but This game is very thematic.
Okay, the thing that I love about this is that you don't see in a lot of pirate-themed games is that they really went to the effort of, first off, the artwork on the cards about the different enemy ships. I mean, it looks like a journal or a map that like a sailor would have made. But also the names of the different ships. You've got corvettes, you've got caravels, these flagships and everything. They are different kinds of ships and they do different functions.
Yeah.
That's something I really enjoy about this, is that they did the real research. It's very thematic in that way, and I really enjoy that.
Well, I just think the atmosphere of everything that's happening running around a ship, like I feel like a pirate running around just trying to deal with everything that happens.
I feel like a pirate with an eye patch and a peg leg sometimes, that bumbling about.
Oh my goodness, we just hit a rock. Oh, there's a ship coming up behind us. Oh, we just got hit. Oh, the cannon broke. We got to go fix the cannon now. It's running around 10 of these different things. Oh, sorry, I can't turn the ship now. I just did it. I'm running off to over here. Why don't you go turn the ship now?
I feel like sometimes like that pirate on Pirates of the Caribbean with the monkey.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes I'm just standing there watching everybody else do stuff because I'm going, I don't know.
Yeah, we are not the pirates who don't do anything. We do lots of things.
Good reference.
So, yes, it feels very thematic, especially, again, once you implement the app and the music and the events and all that and the parrot that's crowing. It's
fun.
Feels like you're a real pirate on a real ship, doesn't it?
Very true. So this game goes 2 to 4 players.
Yeah.
And honestly, I personally am fine with any player count.
Totally. Now, when you play 2, each player controls 2 pirates, so that is a little bit more for you to think about. But it's also...
At the same time, it's more that you get to control.
Exactly. I was just about to say that. That's right. You have more control over it, so...
Although I will admit there have been times when I've become really focused on one pirate and I forget about my other guy.
Right.
My other sand timer. But at the same time, that's less having to, okay, I think you need to go do this. But really, I think I need to, no, you need to go do this. There are moments, I'll admit.
Are you an alpha gamer?
Maybe. Not that bad though, right?
Right.
But there are moments in this game, because we have played this game with a lot of newbie gamers that they simply don't know what to do.
Well, they kind of freeze up too because of the time element.
Time, yes. Yeah, they are used to that kind of thing. It's, yes, they are asking for advice from us and we are ready to give it. But in this, we don't have to. It's more of a, I'm going to go here and here. And it works really well for the 2 of us.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, this is a game that I will endorse as a couple-approved game.
Yes, couple approved. Again, if you don't mind controlling 2 different
right, because the teamwork, they're getting to work together, and I really enjoy that a lot. Yeah,
that's fun.
So with that real-time element and the possibility of people freezing, if real-time is something scary to you, possibly not your...
I will say that if you've played a real-time game before and it's just not your thing, like you freeze up or you feel real stressed, I don't think that there's enough downtime in this to kind of alleviate that. So in my opinion, I think that it's still a real-time game, and if you get stressed in those, it's probably not for you.
So what we're talking about with the downtime is waiting for the sand timer to run out. I personally think it's enough. But that's me. I've been playing games for a little while. So if you have maybe tried real-time games before, like when I'm thinking about real-time games, I'm also thinking about like Flatline. That's a game, no, you don't get downtime. You need to be moving. This game, you do, I feel like you get a breather to go, all right, I've done this. You're covering that, you're covering that, you're covering that. So my next action is going to be to go do this. All right, my timer's out. I feel like you get a little bit of that time, but that's Lara's opinion versus Spencer's opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I see your point, but again, I also think that because there are lots of different options for you to do, especially if you're prone to freezing up like that, and in other games, I still think that you might have that issue, but just depends on you. You do you?
That's right.
Something like that.
Welcome to 2018.
Thank you. But, you know, the people that we think this would be good for, first of all, is people who don't mind that kind of thing. But again, we've mentioned the teamwork aspect of this a lot.
Right. So like maybe a group that just got off of playing a legacy game like Pandemic Legacy or something, or what have you, that you've been working together like that, this is a new way to continue working together with the real-time element,
right,
and new implementation.
And yes, you could still, because it's a cooperative, you could still have the element of an alpha gamer, but I think that it's less so because you have a time limit,
yes.
and ultimately it's your decision, and you have to make a decision at some point, right?
If you just sit there,
because since everyone's going at the same time, sure, you can wait for someone to tell you what to do, but you can't move someone else's sand timer,
and they can't move
like
yours.
If you're not paying attention and your sand timer runs out, nobody can move it out for you, and you go in.
Well, they're not supposed to.
Yeah, you're not supposed to. So you really have that responsibility as a player to make that final call. You can talk amongst yourselves, but more so than something like Pandemic, because you've got to be watching that timer. As soon as it goes, move it. I think you've got less of potential for an alpha gamer to take over.
Less potential for an alpha gamer, and also something to help those gamers who look for someone to tell them what to do. Try to build up confidence in that you know what's right.
Yeah.
That you don't need somebody else's guidance. You can do this.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, let's
do this. Yes.
Pump up, let's sail a ship, guys.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So, with all that said, do you have anything else?
I don't have anything. We covered it all.
I think that it's time for us to give this our Married with Board Games ratings.
So we have a new thematic rating system that we start with. We're doing the different levels of relationships, right?
Spencer came up with all of this.
It's all my idea. So if it's bad, it was me. If it was good, it was me. So
it was all him. I'll give him all the credit.
That's right. All right. So the lowest level, we don't like it. It's going to be a thanks, but no.
I call it a hard pass.
Yeah. Out of 2, just friends.
Yes.
3, we're going steady now. 4, put a ring on it. And 5, I do. You're committed to the game for life. All right. For life. Yes. All right. All right, Lara. What is your relationship commitment to this game?
I'm going to say I do.
Whoa, I do.
Tale of Pirates.
Wow, right. I'm impressed.
You know me in my real time.
I do.
And I'm getting more on board the worker placement train.
Yeah.
And really enjoying that.
Okay.
So the implementation in this game and it being a co-op, I really enjoy all of that. So
yeah.
I'm on board, ride or die.
Okay, awesome.
I do.
It's a tough call, but I think for now I'm going to put a ring on it, a 4 instead of a 5. Or is it 5? 4 instead of a 5. I love the game, as you can tell from everything we've said. I feel like sometimes there can be kind of, especially if you have to repeat a mission over and over and over again, there's a little bit of repetition there, and there isn't a giant variation of the action spaces that you're going to. But that's not to say that I don't love the game and have a blast with it every time we play it. So not the level of commitment as Lara over here, but still pretty committed. Enough to at least put a ring on it. Okay, so what about our Dice Tower seal of approval? Or not approval. What about our Dice Tower seal? What are we going to go with?
I would say
excellence. Yes, absolutely. Excellent game that we put our full support behind.
Definitely.
Yep. So that's all of our thoughts on Tale of Pirates. If you want to hear our thoughts on other games that we've talked about, not necessarily a visual implementation, you can check out our podcast, the Married with Board Games podcast, and you can find that on your podcast platform of choice. Do you have anything else?
No, we're going to box this one up for now.
All right, we'll catch you next time in our next review.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.